Focaccia. Guys, I'm so excited to show you this video. It's just, it's one of my all-time favorite breads. Perfect for pizzas, for sandwiches, for paninis, for just dipping in some oil. Oh man, I just love the crispy, crumbly, flaky crust. You know what? It's one of the easiest things you could possibly make. So if you don't have any experience, those other types of breads, those other types of things, it can be very intimidating, but this, not at all, guys. This is absolute cakewalk and dirt cheap to make and just perfect. Guys, enjoy this video. Let me know what you think. As always, of course, comment below. Let me know if you made these recipes. Send me some pictures. I want to know. I love hearing it. I love hearing what your family thinks. I love hearing what you think. It's amazing. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave you to it. Enjoy the video. As always, stay strong, stay blessed. Stay freaking savage. Peace and love. God bless. Focaccia bread. Absolutely love focaccia. It's one of my all-time favorite breads to have. Ooh, it's perfect. But you buy it from the store, I gotta be honest, it's never that good. It's never that good. And to be honest, this is probably one of the easiest breads you can possibly make. It's just perfect for anyone who just doesn't have any skills. So as you see here, what I'm doing is getting 450 grams of all-purpose flour and throwing 9 grams of salt in there and mixing that up. You can use bread flour here. It's not gonna make a difference. You can even mix it up. Just whatever you have, go ahead and go with that. Set that aside, and I'm gonna get 9 grams of yeast. I'm using active dry, but you can use instant as well. The only difference, again, is just temperatures of your water. But 9 grams is gonna be what you're gonna go with there. Put that into 335 grams of water. Make sure that's up to temp. I like to be around 110 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Seems I get the best results there. Toss you a little bit of sugar in there and mix it up. All we're doing here is we're gonna proof that yeast. You can use flour as well. Just a little spoonful, doesn't need to be heaping or anything like that, just a little spoonful of sugar or flour in there. So those yeasty boys can get to work. They're gonna eat that up and start proofing. What you're gonna see is a little bit of foaming, all those gases start to release, you're gonna see bubbling. Should take you about maybe 5-10-ish minutes. If you don't see any of that after that, it means your yeast is dead. Go ahead and discard it, get you some new yeast. Go ahead and pour that into your dough and start working the flour into the water as if you were doing pasta or anything like that. Use your hands here because it's just gonna be the best way to do it. I know it's gonna be very wet, squidgy, and squishy, but you know what? That's fun, right? It's like being a kid again, making mud pies in your backyard. It's a lot of fun. Now this is gonna be very, 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 very high hydration dough, so it's gonna be very sticky. Don't worry about that, that is okay. Throw you about 9 grams of extra virgin olive oil. Now, this bread is gonna be high oil. It's all about the oil, so if you can, pick you a really good olive oil that you like the flavor of because you're gonna taste that in your bread. Now, once it comes together, just like you see here, go ahead and cover that up. Let that sit for about 25 to 30 minutes. It should effectively double in size. This is a no-knead dough. So all we're gonna do here is do some stretching and some folding in order to build the glutens. Now, what we're gonna do is stretch and fold this about 4 times. So 4 sets of 4. So you see me here stretching. You wanna only go to about when you feel it start to kind of give a little bit because you don't want your dough tearing. After 4 times, you're gonna see it stretch even further in a minute, but just barely stretch it the first time. Take it easy, be patient, and still starts to pull back from you, fold it over. And again, you're gonna do that 4 times. You're gonna cover it, you're gonna set it aside for about 25 to 30 minutes in between sets so that it starts to double. We're building glutens in the dough. Because we're not kneading the dough, because we're not doing any of that, you're gonna wanna stretch it to build the glutens instead. After the 4 times, this is what you're gonna see, a much more smooth, voluminous, beautiful dough. And you see here, this is the 4th time, it stretches way farther. It probably could even get a little further than what I just stretched it there. Again, just be careful. You do not want to tear your dough. And you also don't want to release any of those gases that have built into your dough. Those are gonna make those beautiful, beautiful bubbles inside, the loose crumb that just makes focaccia amazing. And of course, that's gonna add so much flavor. After the 4 times, set that aside again for about 25 to 30 minutes, and you're gonna go ahead and get your pan ready to go. I used a cookie sheet here. You can use a deep dish pan, just make sure it's about 9 by 13. This is a little bit bigger cookie sheet. It means it's gonna be a fairly thin focaccia. That was okay for what I'm using it for. If you're looking for more of a sandwich style focaccia, you want it to rise higher, use a deeper pan. 9 by 13 with deep edges, deep dish pan, something like that, cake pan, rectangular cake pan, something like that would work perfect. And then it's gonna be much, much thicker. This is gonna be thinner and you'll see it a bit. Now, pour it out. I know that's a lot of oil, ladies and gentlemen, I get it. Okay, but again, that's okay for focaccia. Everything is about the oil. 1, you don't want that to stick to the pan. 2, it's gonna add so much beautiful flavor to your bread. It's gonna effectively make that crust just flaky and delicious. Now, be careful stretching here. Take your time with this because it can tear. So if it starts to pull back on you, let it sit for 10, 15 minutes until those gluten start to relax, and then it'll go just fine. Once you get it to fill your pan, cover it, set it for about 45 minutes to an hour, and you're gonna see all kinds of beautiful bubbly goodness in that. After that, you're gonna be concerned with your flavoring here. Now what I did was I infused some oil with some garlic and some herbs. So I just chopped up maybe 4 or 5 garlic cloves, put that in my oil, and I started with my herbs. Again, you don't have to do any of this at all. That's really up to you, it's just flavoring. This is just what I like. So I put a little olive oil in a pan, put my garlic in there, I put a little rosemary, a little thyme, a little basil, a little parsley, and I just mix that in nicely, and I throw that over medium low heat and let that start to come to a slight boil, and just let that cool, and that's gonna create some beautiful flavored infused olive oil. You can also do it in a bottle, set it on a window, but that's gonna take you a lot longer. Now, once you get to this stage, notice all those beautiful, beautiful bubbles. Now, I went ahead and put dimples in mine. This is traditionally how it's done. You do not even have to do this, to be honest with you, but hey, it's freaking fun. It's so much fun, and you get to listen to those little squish, squish. It's awesome. Once you get there, just go ahead and put that beautiful oil on top. Again, this is just what I chose to do. If you'd rather just put a little olive oil on top, put a little salt, maybe a little pepper. If you have some cherry tomatoes, you can push that in the top of your dough. Whatever. Bob's your uncle. It's up to you. It's your bread. Flavor it how you desire to do it. I just love it this way because I love me some garlic and some herbs. And so I just infuse some oil, put it on top. Once you get there, throw that into an oven, 450 degrees Fahrenheit for roughly 25 to 30 minutes until golden, beautiful, beautiful brown. Again, don't pop any of those bubbles, by the way. I know you're gonna want to. I know. I get it. Just leave them. I leave it because those bubbles are delicious. They get all crispy-fied and they're yummy. But look how beautiful that is. You end up with this wonderful, crusty, crispy, very thin crust. It's all crunchy and beautiful. Now you see here, I'm just gonna go ahead and lift it off that pan, throw it on a cooling rack, let that sit for a minute before slicing. You don't have to let this rest uber long because you're not gonna want to anyway. It's gonna smell amazing. But look how beautiful that is. Look how gorgeous that is. A beautiful golden brown, crispy crust. Again, it's my absolute favorite. It's my absolute favorite bread. It's perfect for dipping. It's perfect for like paninis, making beautiful sandwiches. I had some for breakfast with a little egg on it. It doesn't even matter, man. The hardest part to this bread, I gotta be honest, it's not eating the whole stinking thing. I mean, how do you not? It's just gonna smell fantastic and be delicious. But look at that beautiful crumb. Again, mine's a little thinner because I used a cookie sheet. Again, if you want a sandwich or something, you'd rather have something bigger, just use a deeper pan and it would be just fine, just fine. But look at all those beautiful bubbles. It's just that soft, warm middle and that crispy, thin crust. Oh my gosh, it's just something about it, man. I just love it. I just love it. How do you not? Look at it. Listen to it. Oh, I'm getting hungry just looking at it. Oh man. Oh man. Oof. Freaking Oh my God, it's good. Doesn't even compare to the store-bought stuff. And it's so easy, why not make it? Doesn't take any time. Ugh. So I like the thin because I like to do this. I just made some quick Sicilian pepperoni pizzas with a little raw sauce, a little raw marinara, a little melty cheese, mozzarella cheese, a little deli pepperonis I sliced. Throw that in the oven for a little bit, let that get all melty, and oh, so delicious.